Hello everyone! Welcome to the final session of my All About Ebikes series. Today we're going to talk about the sheer number of e-bike styles, frames and accessories. We'll look at how to make an e-bike safer and finally some tips on where and how to buy one. We'll start right after this. There exists a large number of styles of e-bikes, and each style is designed for a different use. The basis for an electric bike is the shape of its frame. The majority of e-bikes have a diamond-shaped frame. But more and more e-bikes come with a low-step frame, which allows the rider to mount the bike without having to swing a leg above the seat. Some are designed with a mid-step frame, which makes the frame stronger, but requires the rider to lift their foot a little higher than the low-step frame to get their leg over to the other side when mounting the bike. For those who can't lift their foot more than 8 inches, there's the Pedal Boomerang, an extreme low-step bike. Bicycle frames can be made of steel, chromoly, aluminum, carbon fiber, or titanium, the latter two being very light in weight but heavy on the bank account. Some manufacturers make just the fork out of carbon fiber for its light weight and its flexibility for improved comfort. I know of at least one e-bike manufacturer whose frames are entirely made of carbon fiber, Le Monde e-bikes, but there could be others. Most electric bikes are made of aluminum. Aluminum frames are lighter than steel ones, and they can be shaped for aerodynamics, whereas steel ones are made of round tubes welded together. Aluminum frames are less expensive to make because they're easier to shape and to mass produce. If the frame breaks, though, it would be more difficult to weld than a steel frame would be. Some manufacturers offer different sizes of frames for each model to accommodate the size of the rider, but others have only one size to offer. When choosing a new bike, it's much better to have a frame that's correctly sized for you. Mountain bikes are made for off-road use, and they may or may not have full suspension. They usually have wide, straight handlebars and a very large range of gears, especially in the low range. This subject is covered more extensively in Part 6, Handlebars. Here we have an example of an electric road bike, Ribble Endurance SLE. As we saw in Part 6 when discussing handlebars, electric road bikes are lightweight racing bikes weighing between 31 and 39 pounds. They have a diamond frame, large wheels with narrow rims, a narrow seat, and drop handlebars that put the rider in a position of least wind resistance. They have either a small hub motor, partially hidden by the brake disc, or a mid-drive motor. The battery, which is of small capacity, is hidden in the frame with the wiring and controller to make them invisible, but more importantly to make the bike aerodynamic. The motor is only used to give the rider a boost when climbing a hill or to combat a strong headwind. The owner can ride with their non-electric friends, and nobody would know that they're riding an electric bike. This type of e-bike is often characterized as stealthy, something that acts furtively or covertly. If you buy one of these, expect that your friends will tease you about cheating. However, when you tell them the price, they'll be impressed. As for the motivation for buying a bike with such an unencumbered look, it may have more to do with their appreciation of aesthetics. There's really nothing very pretty about wires that stick out all over the place. Commuter e-bikes can have either a diamond frame or a step-through frame. They're made for practical use, so they're usually equipped with the accoutrements that will allow the rider to ride safely and to arrive at the destination without getting dirty or wet. So they'll have front and rear wheel lights, a baggage rack, a bottle holder, fenders, a bell, rear view mirror, a chain guard, and a kickstand. They might also have a USB outlet for charging a phone or GPS. It's unlikely that you'll find an e-bike with all these accessories, so you may have to ask your seller to install them for you. Some e-bikes have a folding frame. The big advantage is that they take up less space in storage and they can easily be carried inside a car. They tend to have a smaller frame and be equipped with smaller wheels than a fixed frame bike. Some of these would qualify as mini e-bikes. According to my own definition, a bike is in the mini class if its wheels are less than 20 inches in diameter. As a rule, mini electric bikes are cheaper than more conventional ones. The main advantage is that they're lighter and smaller than ordinary e-bikes and are thus easier to carry in a car and to store. Also, they're less expensive than regular e-bikes. Most of them don't have the same performance as the regular larger electric bikes. In general, they have a small motor and a small capacity battery. A case in point is this cute little Jetson Bolt Pro, which sells for about $400 in Canadian currency. It has a 350-watt motor, which is pretty adequate for a machine of its size, and its battery has a capacity of 216 watt-hours, which would be good for about 20 kilometers with moderate pedaling. Fat bikes are essentially electric bicycles with extra wide wheels, 4 to 5 inches wide. As we saw in Part 5, they're excellent on uneven surfaces such as dirt roads, gravel, or sand. Because of their low tire pressure, they absorb road shocks, giving them an unrivaled level of comfort. So they're excellent for the pothole streets of Ottawa and Gatineau. They can be found in several types of frames: low-step frame, mid-step frame, diamond frame, folding frame, and mountain bike frame. Fat bikes aren't only good for off-road cycling, they're also suitable for just about any use: bicycle touring, commuting, or even a leisurely Sunday afternoon ride. There's also a large number of different cargo bicycles. Some have the cargo area at the front and some have it at the back. Some can carry children and some are made for carrying huge loads. If you're interested in this transportation method, you might love watching the International Cargo Bike Festival parade in the Netherlands, linked in the description. Let's not forget that some couples like to ride together and to share the pedaling effort. I'm referring here to tandem electric bikes. The term tandem refers to the seating arrangement, front to back, not side by side, and not to the number of passengers either, although I don't know of any electric tandems made for more than 2 people. The front rider steers and pedals the bike, while the rear rider just pedals. On most electric tandems, the 2 pedal sets are mechanically linked by a chain and rotate at the same speed. The motor can be either a rear hub motor or a mid-drive motor. Less commonly, those that are called recumbent trikes allow the cyclist to sit comfortably with the pedals in front. The advantages: they're extremely comfortable and they're more stable as the rider doesn't need to keep their balance. Disadvantages: with 3 wheels, it's harder to avoid the potholes. The low seating position makes them less visible to traffic and makes it harder for the rider to see above nearby cars. They're cumbersome due to their large turning circle, they're wider for going through a door or through the entrances to trails, and they require more maintenance than regular e-bikes. There are many different variations in this category of cycle, which would be the subject of another video by someone who specializes in this subject. Oh, before I forget, I'd just like to ask you, if you like this channel, to do the usual stuff, like, comment, share, and subscribe. When you're out shopping for an electric bike, you'll see that some e-bikes are completely naked, having neither lights, fenders, chain guard, mirror, bell, kickstand, or baggage rack, whereas some models have all these accessories as standard equipment. Most regulatory agencies required as a minimum that the e-bike be equipped with reflectors and a bell, and that the rider wear a helmet. Maybe you found the e-bike that you want, but it doesn't come with a rack, fenders, and bottle holder. That's not usually a deal breaker. There are aftermarket solutions for installing most accessories. If your bike is equipped with eyelets like in this picture, installing a rack and fenders would be very easy. Otherwise, it may be possible to jury-rig clamps for attaching them. If the bike is equipped with bottle bosses like in this picture, any bottle holder can be installed with 2 screws. Otherwise, your bicycle shop could install riv nuts in a suitable place on the seat post or on the down tube. Let's talk about where to buy your e-bike. If you're not experienced in bicycle repair and electricity, your best bet is to buy from a reputable bicycle store and forge a relationship with the people in the store. If you make it a habit to have your bike serviced in the same store, you're less likely to be left to your own devices in case of a breakdown. There's so much variety and so many models and manufacturers that you must exercise due diligence before buying. Visit lots of bike shops and ask a lot of questions. Once you've zeroed in on the exact bike that you want, go for a test ride. If the store owner won't let you go for a road test, try to find a more accommodating store. However, this could be difficult. Bicycle stores have very few demo e-bikes that they can let you try, if any. Take your time and do your homework, because if you make a mistake and end up with the wrong e-bike, it'll cost you a lot of money to get rid of it and buy another one. If you have experience repairing things, you could save money by buying from a large retailer. Canadian Tire, Walmart, and Costco sell entry-level e-bikes at discounted prices. But you must be aware that when an electric component fails, these sellers won't repair the bike for you. As for local bicycle shops, they won't be familiar with your particular e-bike, they won't have access to parts, and they won't be interested in helping you. So you'll have to deal directly with the manufacturer online or by phone. They may be able to ship a part to you, but you'll have to install it yourself. Likewise, if you buy your e-bike online, you'll be on your own when it comes to diagnosing an electrical problem and performing the repair. Exceptions to this are companies like RAD, which have a service agreement with VeloFix, the mobile bicycle company shop that has trucks all over the US and Canada. Before ending this video, I'll just mention a few things with regard to safety. Unlike with automobiles, there's no way of building an e-bike to provide the rider with crash protection like seat belts, crumple zones, and airbags. All we can do is to buy an e-bike that's less likely to encounter a crash in the first place. In Europe, to reduce the chances of accident, the law requires that an e-bike be a pedelec, that is, an e-bike that can only be operated by turning the pedals. That means no throttle. Furthermore, the motor must put out a maximum of 250 watts, and the speed needs to be locked at no more than 25 kilometers an hour. If you live in North America, where those limits are higher and you want to reduce your chances of accident, you can buy an e-bike that corresponds to the European standards. If you want to add a small extra margin of safety, you could buy one with hydraulic disc brakes instead of mechanical brakes. You could make sure that the bike has plenty of reflectors like the one in this drawing. You could add powerful lights at the front and rear, a loud horn, and one or two rear view mirrors. If you're traveling on highways, you could equip your bike with a rear-facing radar warning system. To make yourself more visible, you could wear bright colors and install a flag at the back of your bike. One day, all these features might become required by law, but presently, it's up to the bike owner to decide what level of risk he or she is ready to accept. What you should know before buying an e-bike is that if you intend to use your own energy most of the time and only engage the motor to help you go up hills, then you'll need a geared hub motor or a mid-drive motor, because all mid-drive motors are geared. Because, as I mentioned, a large direct drive motor's electromagnetic resistance would make it too hard to pedal. If you need a reminder as to why this is, you might want to watch part 2 about motors again. But if you're towing heavy cargo, or if you're a touring cyclist riding long distances in hilly terrain, you'd be better with a powerful mid-drive and a large battery, or carry a spare battery. If you're a serious cyclist or a Peloton rider, you'll want an electric road bike with a small geared hub motor. You'll want it to be naked with no unessential accessories that add additional weight. If you're a commuter and need to recharge your battery at the office, you'll want a bike that has a removable battery, and you'll probably want several additional accessories. If you're physically limited in your range of movement, you'll want a step-through frame. If you're a less experienced rider who doesn't ride long distances, the size of the battery won't matter. You'll choose a bike with a small geared hub motor, so you don't have to change gears all the time as you would if you made the mistake of buying a bike with a mid-drive motor. If you want to eliminate shifting completely, you could opt for a single-speed electric bike, which offers the added benefit of easier maintenance. In order to accelerate more slowly, you might prefer a less powerful motor of 350 or even 250 watts. If what you need is a shifting system that doesn't require reducing power between gear changes and that even allows you to shift gears when the bike is completely stopped, you would buy a bike with a geared hub in the rear wheel. And if you hate a greasy chain, you'd make sure the bike has a low-maintenance, long-lasting carbon belt. If you are a utility rider who uses the bike as a truck, you'll want a fully equipped bike, including a strong kickstand, a good quality front and rear light system, powerful motor, and a long-range battery. That said, if all you've ever ridden in your life is a pedal bike and you jump onto any electric bike and you ignore everything I've said in this video series, chances are you'll be happy with your purchase because even the least well-suited bike for your needs will be better than a bike without a motor. I wish you good luck in your choice, and I wish that an electric bike will change your life for the better. I hope you found this series useful. Thank you for joining me on this final episode, and remember, never quit cycling.